Glowing star. I know. A Christmas unicorn story. In the Valley of Starlight, where the snow shimmered like sugar and the air smelled faintly of peppermint, there lived a family of unicorns in a cozy little cottage tucked between two silver birch trees. Mummy Unicorn, Daddy Unicorn, and their two children, Luna and Spark, filled their home with laughter, light, and the occasional bit of mischief. Luna, the older of the two, was clever and curious but often too sure of herself. Spark, her younger brother, was playful and bright but had a streak of cheekiness that made him believe he already knew everything there was to know. One chilly morning, while the fire crackled in the hearth, Mummy Unicorn stood by the sink, washing glitter-speckled teacups. The smell of cinnamon and warm hay biscuits drifted through the room. "Luna, darling," she called gently, "could you take your glitter cups downstairs, please? I need the table cleared before dinner." From the other room, Luna replied without even looking up from her coloring book, "I know." But her hooves didn't move an inch. A moment later, Daddy Unicorn trotted in from outside, his mane dusted with snowflakes. He shook them off with a chuckle and said, "Spark, tidy your mane before we sit down. You've got twigs in it again." Spark didn't even glance up from his pile of toy blocks. "I know that," he said proudly, and went right on building. Mummy Unicorn and Daddy Unicorn exchanged a smile, but there was a tired sadness behind it. This had become their daily routine. Every reminder met with the same two words, "I know." Days passed into weeks, weeks into months. Seasons changed, and still, Luna and Spark's "I know" echoed through the cottage more often than laughter. Their parents tried gentle talks and firm reminders, but it seemed nothing could change the habit. Then came Christmas Eve. Snow fell softly outside, blanketing the Valley of Starlight in silver and white. The cottage glowed with warmth, candles flickered, a pot of berry punch simmered on the stove, and the scent of pine filled the air. Mummy Unicorn hung the last of the stockings by the fireplace while Daddy Unicorn wrapped the final few presents in paper that shimmered like moonlight. Outside, the night sky deepened into velvet blue, speckled with stars that twinkled brighter than usual. Daddy Unicorn happened to glance out the window, and froze. "Mummy Unicorn," he gasped, his horn sparkling with excitement. "Come quick. Look at the sky." She hurried to his side, drying her hooves on a towel. "What is it?" He pointed upward. Across the horizon, streaks of gold and silver light danced in sweeping arcs. And then, through the shimmering glow, came the sound of soft bells, delicate and bright. "It's him," she whispered. "It's Santa Unicorn." Outside, far above the treetops, a sleigh glided through the air, pulled by 7 gleaming unicorns, each leaving a trail of light that sparkled in the night. The sleigh swooped gracefully toward their valley. "Luna, Spark," Mummy Unicorn called up the stairs, her heart racing with joy. "Quickly, come to the window. Santa Unicorn is here." From upstairs came Luna's usual voice. "I know." A moment later, Spark shouted back, "I know that." Mummy and Daddy Unicorn looked at each other, their eyes soft with disappointment. They turned back to the window just as Santa's sleigh descended through the clouds. The great unicorn himself waved, his mane shimmering like pure starlight. A gentle swirl of snow lifted around him as he whispered a few magical words that only the winter wind could carry. Then, with a flash of silver, he was gone. For a few moments, the house was silent, except for the ticking of the old clock and the faint hiss of the fire. Then came the sound of hooves, 2 pairs, clattering down the stairs. Luna and Spark skidded to a stop by the window, breathing hard, eyes wide. "Is he here?" Luna gasped. "Did we miss him?" Daddy Unicorn nodded sadly. "You did, my loves. We called you, but you didn't come." Spark's ears drooped. "We thought we had time," he murmured. Mummy Unicorn smiled gently and wrapped her tail around both of them. "Sometimes," she said softly, "knowing isn't the same as doing. You have to listen and act, or you'll miss the magic meant just for you." The 2 young unicorns pressed close to their parents, looking out into the glittering night sky where Santa had flown. A warm, quiet love filled their hearts. They didn't speak for a long while, they simply stood together, watching the stars and feeling something important take root inside them. That night, as they went to bed, Luna whispered to her brother, "Next time, we'll listen." Spark nodded, his eyes already closing. Next time, morning came with sunlight spilling across the snowy fields. Luna and Spark galloped down the stairs, laughter bubbling in their throats. Their stockings were full, glimmering with sweets and tiny gifts. But one thing caught their eyes immediately: 2 silver bells nestled among the presents, each one tied with a crimson ribbon. Luna lifted hers carefully. Etched into its surface were delicate words that read, Sometimes, learning from your mistakes and listening can lead you to experience magical moments in your life. Spark's bell chimed softly, a note so pure it made their horns glow faintly. The two of them looked at each other and smiled. From that day on, whenever Mummy or Daddy Unicorn asked them to do something, whether it was helping set the table, brushing their manes, or tidying their rooms, they remembered the night they almost missed Santa Unicorn. And every time, instead of saying, "I know," Luna would smile and say, "I'll do it now." Spark would nod proudly and say, "Right away." That Christmas, and every Christmas after, the cottage in the Valley of Starlight shone a little brighter, not because of the lights or the glittering snow, but because two young unicorns had learned that listening, and doing, brings its own kind of magic.